Hello and welcome to Picture Astrology. Today we are going to talk about placement of Rahu in 12th house of the horoscope. And this is one of the most trickiest placement to decipher in Vedic astrology, primarily because both the variables, the Rahu or North Node as well as 12th house, both represent some extreme significations or qualities, and therefore correctly predicting how Rahu will behave in 12th house is quite a challenge. But in next few minutes we will try to unravel this mystery using some of the basic principles which we have learned in the initial series or initial videos of Rahu and Ketu series. So very first thing, 12th house is actually an house of polar opposites. It on one hand represents all kind of sensual pleasures, any kind of sensual pleasure you can imagine, from alcohol to gambling and so on, can be represented by 12th house. And on the other hand, this is the house of extreme spiritual progress. Some of the greatest yogis of these times or today's times have had this Rahu's placement in the 12th house. So there is, a very broad spectrum of things which 12th house covers, and Rahu is anyways a very difficult graha to understand. In fact, it does not even has any physical presence. It is actually a mathematical point, as we have seen in my initial videos. And therefore, placement of Rahu in 12th house really becomes very tricky. So if you read any of the books on astrology, especially the old classics, when the language is quite blunt, people tend to get scared because of this placement of Rahu. But in essence, as I said, there is a big spectrum of things which this Rahu can cover. So as we have learned again in my previous videos, this Rahu will truly act as a catalyst to the promise of the horoscope. And in this broad spectrum of things, this Rahu will help push things one way or the other, depending upon what your horoscope has already promised of. But still there are some things which you can say with fair bit of confidence. Very first is that this Rahu will definitely give you some longing from normal, or actually going beyond normal, from mundane life or mundane physical life which you see day to day. There will be a longing to go beyond it. Now that can manifest in many different ways. In normal horoscope, it can only mean, people who are interested in extraterrestrials or extraterrestrial life, UFOs, people who read a lot about them, or people interested in paranormal activities in some form or shape, or even people who have had some experience in paranormal activities. Rahu in 12th house, especially when Mars and Saturn supports this placement. Typically, if Mars and Rahu are in the Kendra houses, can really support paranormal experiences of different kinds. Now, in extreme cases, when horoscope supports this kind of Rahu, can also give tendency of learning occult things, some or the other form of occult things, which could range from normal astrology, numerology, to Reiki, to sorcery, or any other form and shape of paranormal. Now 12th house is also the house of everything foreign. Rahu is another placement or planet which represents everything foreign, everything which is beyond your own culture. So if the horoscope has other good combination, this Rahu can really give you great success and great name in foreign countries. Now one of the greatest mystic of modern world, Swami Vivekananda, who actually was born in the 19th century, and he really inspired an entire generation during his lifetime, which was in the 19th and 20th century. Now he was born in India, and nobody knew him in India until he attained great success in First World Religious Parliament in Chicago. And so much so that when he left from India to Chicago, the only thing he was supposed to attend was that Parliament of World Religion, but he couldn't come back to India for at least 1 or 2 years, because he then traveled entire America, entire North America, then to Europe, and then finally to India. So he actually attained all his name and fame in foreign countries. And it's another thing that he also broke all the physical bondage and attained nirvana or emancipation at a very young age. But it just goes to show that this Rahu can really push or give or bless a person with both great physical name and fame and at the same time great spiritual success. However, if this Rahu in 12th house is afflicted or at the same time the horoscope is weak, then this Rahu can even mean trouble in foreign country, problems of all sorts in or from people who are other than your own culture. Now since this Rahu is right opposite 6th house, which is the house of punishment, many people who get on the wrong side of law also has this placement of Rahu. Now this could simply range from getting too many speeding tickets, okay? This Rahu in the 12th house can really make you restless, and if Mars is strong or 4th house is afflicted in some ways, people can really go crazy with their vehicles. And I have seen cases, people who are living really normal life but having 8-9 speeding tickets and on the verge of forfeiting their license, and they have Rahu in 12th house, 4th house Lord, which shows your vehicles, and Venus, which is the Karaka of vehicles, afflicted. So basically this Rahu makes it makes it very easy for people to get in some or the other entanglement with laws, and that usually would happen when 9th Lord is weak as well, and that could result in even fines. You need to pay your taxes on time, remember, if you have this placement of Rahu in 12th house. Now another thing with 12th house is that it is known as house of Vyaya or loss. Now when they say loss in Vedic astrology, what they really mean is any kind of activity which consumes your life energies. Now so this loss is not only related to monetary loss, money is obviously involved in it, but it also means any activity which really consumes or sucks up your life energy. And if you watch closely, if you indulge in too much sensual pleasure, it takes out your life energies. It really drains you. Like if you drink a lot at one night, next morning it will be very difficult for you to get up on time because your life energies kind of get sapped in. So this Rahu actually has, again, multiple implications. One, it can give you a very generous disposition. People who just don't care about spending money, they could be really helpful to other people, okay? If with this placement of Rahu, if Jupiter is well placed, they would, give tendency like they would get into debt themselves to help others. Extremely helpful. And at the same time, as we just talked about, if there are afflictions, it can mean fines from government of various types. So if you have this Rahu and suppose you feel that it is giving you troubles, it is giving you some or the other kind of impediments in life, then what do you do? Hey, I actually need to make a different set of series for remedies, how exactly remedies work with practical examples. Practically, I want to explain different kind of remedies and basically explain, many people say, oh, what is the relation? If I do this, how does it save me from those other kind of troubles? But there is very nice way in which that can be explained. I will take that up in a separate series of videos. But for now, say if you have Rahu in 12th house, you should ideally just try and help out people who have, sort of been outcasted from the society. Now this can literally mean anybody who is not yet part of the mainstream. Now it can, for practical reasons, you can just do, say, some help or service in, say, old age home, people where old people generally not welcome in their families reside. Or similarly, you can do some or the other kind of help in the orphanage, young kids, small kids who have been for different reasons not staying with their family, but in a public care center. Or if you can do none of these, you just try and help and donate in any kind of charity of your choice. And amount is not important. Any amount which you can do, If you cannot pay money, just help out with some kind of service on those areas. Now, those kind of activities I have literally experienced and seen to have helped a lot, not just for Rahu in 12th house, but any kind of 12th house related issues. Now, as I said, this Rahu can have a vast range of experiences or effects. So I would love if you have this placement and would like to share some of those experiences. I would also share some of the very unique incidents and stories which people have narrated to me, which have happened with them in this 12th house Rahu time. So I request you to please put your stories and experiences in the comments, and I will put mine too as well. So thanks for watching this video so far, and a big thank you for continuing to support our channel. Hope to see you in discussion on the next topic soon. Bye bye.